Well friends, we're off the coast of Posillipo aboard the BSC B2, powered by a pair of 250 horsepower Hondas. Salvatore Marinelli is with me. Good morning.
Hello Carlo, good morning.
Centro Nautico Marinelli, BSC dealer for Campania and Honda dealer, who provided us with this rib in the water. And today we're testing the hull's performance in combination with the pair of engines. I'm currently at 900 RPM, speed 4 knots, fuel consumption 5 liters per hour. The fuel consumption I'll give you will be the total for both engines for the entire test, unless otherwise specified. So obviously we'll have to divide it to analyze the individual engines. As you can see, the sea and weather conditions are more than ideal, but there's a question mark. We're in the Gulf of Naples, and today is a Friday in July, so anyone who sails in these areas knows full well that there are a lot of boats passing through, generating a lot of waves. This will be an excellent test bed for the hull's comfort. Let's start cruising. I have the throttles synchronized because the engines have an electronic throttle, allowing us to use the one-lever function. With a single throttle, the two engines will work in sync, ensuring they're both pushing at the same speed. The safety cutoff is securely fastened. You can't see it on my hands as it's clipped to my trousers, but as you well know, we're sailing in complete safety. Currently, I'm at 1,400 RPM, burning 10 liters per hour at a speed of 6 knots. And you can already see how, in displacement mode, the boat's line is quite sporty and elegant at the same time, which allows us to provide full stability since the Orca neoprene tubes rest in the water practically mid-hull in this displacement condition. We are simulating a pleasure cruise since we are with 80% fuel and 100% water. Even though there are only 2 people on board, but we have all the deck equipment, including the T-top in this layout, which will offer us a lot of wind resistance. So, as we continue sailing, we must keep in mind that we also have a lot of tolerance, since if we wanted to remove the T-top, we would also reach higher top speeds. Let's continue raising. 1,900 RPM, speed 7 knots, consumption 14.6 liters per hour. But as you can see, we are in a fast displacement phase. We are taking care to accommodate the requirements of the hull and also the engines. The engines are equipped with Honda's Blast technology, which delivers greater torque under sudden acceleration, especially at low revs, allowing for quick exit from the water. I'm currently at 2,200 RPM, 9 knots, and consuming 15.4 liters per hour. The trim is fully down to facilitate exit from the water, and as you can see, we're still at the beam and keel, but we're having no problems whatsoever. Visibility is more than excellent, thanks in part to the very large windshield that protects us from the headwind. We also saw this during the onboard presentation. It provides complete shelter. The wind you'll feel while sailing will be coming from the side, so we're currently at 2,500 RPM, 9.2 knots, and consuming 30 liters per hour, but we're still raising. You can see how the wake is forming astern, which allows us to estimate a planing start with a very slight lift of the bow at 13 knots, 13.1 knots, with a consumption of 40 liters per hour. But the engines are currently focusing on pushing the hull out of the water, and so we try to optimize the speed per consumption ratio by fully opening the throttle and entering a cruising range. The displays provided by Honda light up green, indicating that the Eco-MO mode has been activated, which therefore allows for fuel savings, as it increases the oxygen mixture compared to the fuel itself without sacrificing performance. This translates into a speed of 18 knots currently, with a consumption of 23.7 liters per hour per engine, so consumption around 1.5 liters per mile per engine. But let's go further. The throttle is more than smooth and the engines are always responsive. The engines also feature Honda's VTEC technology, which allows us to adjust the valve timing and give us more power when we need it. I raise the trim and we cruise easily, completely relaxed at 23.8 knots, 24 knots with a fuel consumption of 68.1 liters. And look how the hull line remains perfectly level with the horizon. So the hull has excellent trim in the water, and at this speed we test the stability when turning at 25 knots. Are you ready, Salvatore? Let's go. Turn to port, hydraulic steering. Look here. Now we're going to cross the wave. We're not losing speed. Currently we're only losing 1 knot, but there's no problem with the impact on the wave. And above all, there are no creaking sounds from the onboard structures, even though there is a T-top. The T-top is anchored very well both to the quarterdeck and to the rear uprights, which discharge directly onto the deck, so no structural problems. And so we continue at 27 knots, 3,900 RPM with a total fuel consumption of 74 liters per hour. Look how the waves begin to cross in front of us, precisely because there are so many boats going out at the moment. But we're still pushing. Listen to the roar. These engines make a sharp change in speed, 4,800 RPM. I raise the trim. We reach the 100 liters per hour threshold overall at a speed of 34 knots, 35 knots. We reduce the wetted surface area and look how we glide across the water. Impact on the wave, perfectly cushioned. Water deflected sideways, so plenty of comfort on deck. And we're still raising. Let's see where these engines take us. 5,200 RPM, 38 knots, 39 knots. Look how we jump over the wave. Not exactly an everyday pleasure boat at this speed. Don't try this at home. We rotate again. We look for shelter to test top speed. We turn at a constant 29 knots. Look here, as I was saying, the steering is more than smooth. But now let's get back on track and accelerate and suddenly fully open the throttle. Listen to the roar of these engines. The engines are singing. 5,300 RPM. I raise the trim 36 knots, 37 knots, 40 knots, 163 liters per hour, 41 knots, 6,000 RPM, 42.5 knots. 167 liters per hour, 6,200 RPM. But look, we've reached 43 knots in total comfort because, as I was saying, the windshield gives us so much protection. So with no wind in front of us, we feel like we're sailing at a slower pace. And now the very last tack to get the bow back toward the harbor. We crossed the last waves and look, I can run the engines without having any cavitation problems, thanks also to the installation provided by Marinelli Nautical Center, a Honda dealer. So now all we have to do is put the boat in neutral and see how many seconds it takes to reach top speed, how many seconds it takes to get out of the water. So here we are in neutral. We still have lots of waves, lots of boats ahead of us, but we won't wait. I'll put the rudders in the middle. Lower the trim. Salvatore, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go! Full throttle. Feel the blast technology. The engines roar out of the water. 19 knots, 25, 26 knots. I raise the trim, 5,000 RPM. 32 knots, 37 knots. 38, 39, I raise the trim completely. Look how we're out of the water. We're completely lifting off. 160 liters per hour, 42 knots, 43 knots, 44 knots, jumping on the wave. Look at this, how consistently the deck stays dry. It's incredible, and now lots of little waves ahead of us. Look here, perfectly damped on board. So dear friends, this is the BSC B2. It's a boat suitable for anyone who wants the right amount of comfort in a deck layout. As we saw in the onboard presentation, the deck offers a literally walk-around layout, allowing us to move 360 degrees around the entire boat. Furthermore, we have a large aft dinette where a table can be electrically raised to create a dinette or a very large sun deck. A double sun deck, therefore, since there's plenty of space in the bow and we're always protected inside the tubulars on deck. This allows even the less experienced to stay comfortably inside the boat. As for navigation, we saw a great deal of comfort with this pair of engines, which therefore managed to navigate with optimized fuel consumption that even approaches 1 liter per mile when cruising. In this case, we were in test conditions, so we stressed the speeds even further. Furthermore, this rib you see is provided for rental purposes, so it works hard all year round. As we noticed, there are no creaks or vibrations except for the door, which wasn't completely closed, so that was our fault during the test. Furthermore, the hull wasn't perfectly clean, so we can reach much higher top speeds. As we mentioned, there is also the T-top, which increases aerodynamic drag and adds weight to the entire boat. Of course, there is also a cabin inside with a double bed and a separate bathroom, which allows a couple to take long cruises far from the port, since we can be completely independent, as there is also a galley inside the seating area. So, dear friends, I thank Salvatore again for the availability of the boat.
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you very much.
As always, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and Facebook page. Leave a like and tag people you think might be interested. And as always, we will see you here on the C Team for all the upcoming videos. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.